How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Binance fights back against SEC lawsuit over alleged securities violations. So now that it's been a week, they have filed some motions and oppositions for the SEC's lawsuit. They're saying that they have no reason to freeze BAM trading, and there is no risk to BAM trading customers' assets. However, if the funds are indeed commingled, like the former CEO says, then there is reason to freeze these assets. Indeed, there is no emergency, he says, other than the one manufactured by the SEC for its own purposes when the alleged security law violation, according to the SEC, has been going on publicly and openly for years. So, it's like, because not everyone knows we were doing stuff we shouldn't have been doing, it should be okay. So, yeah, not really a good defense there. Coinbase invited to move to Hong Kong by regulators as SEC lawsuit in US develops. So, not really much here. Hong Kong Council member Johnny NG said that he offers an invitation to welcome all global virtual asset trading operators, including Coinbase, to come to Hong Kong for application of official trading platforms and further development plans. Feel free to reach me, and I'm happy to provide any assistance. So hopefully we'll see some. I'm bad to see companies move, but hopefully we'll see them go and we can actually use them in Hong Kong. We'll have to see if the government kind of pushes them out, kind of like they have MEXC and KuCoin and other exchanges that are from outside the US. What's in the SEC's Hinman emails then? Do they really help Ripple? Well, the article really doesn't give you too much information, aside from telling you that these included a exchange between Hinman and the members of the SEC staff in preparation for his meeting that was on June 14th in 2018, where he talked about how the digital assets might be regulated. Only things that this really showed was that Ethereum was being directed how not to be labeled as security, and Vitalik was meeting with Hinman, so there was that. And then it really didn't give anything that could help the XRP case, because it just showed that Hinman went off kilter and he included a bunch of his own wording that he should not have. So the SEC was not lying when they said it's his own opinions, because it was. The entire council was telling them, do not say some of these things you're saying. They are illegal and should not be in your speech, but he did it anyways. He purposely created a cloud of what kind of regulatory framework can be created for these assets. So for CPI, the consumer price index rose just 0.1% for the month and 4% from a year ago. So that's great because it's the lowest it's been in 2 years. The core CPI rose 0.4% for the month and 5.3% for the year, and all these numbers were in line with expectations, so that's why we didn't really get any big dump or pump in the markets. Now, the one part missing they do say nearly 100%. At first I thought I said 100%. But we do have, for tomorrow, a possibility of a rate hike not happening. So, with CPI coming down, there could also be a possibility that we may get a little bit of a gas pedal off. Maybe we see the rates come down a little bit and take some of the pressure off the banking system. That way we don't have some of the banking crises we have going on right now, and kind of alleviate some of that pressure. So, over on our total market cap for our altcoins, our RSI is kind of flat. Stochastic wants to give it up to the bearish side. We're right around that, just above that neutral zone, not too far from it. Our money flow is trying to make a new high and push forward. We'll have to see if it can keep going. If it can, we may get some continued upward. This is on the 1 hour. Momentum's coming up and our VWAP's kind of flat. So the 1 hour is looking like we may get a little bit of a push, but a little indecisive currently. For the day, we are a little higher than we were. RSI is heading up, VWAP's bullish, money flow's coming out. Stochastic's kind of beat down. Our momentum, is trying to get a double green dot. So our momentum wants to push forward, but our money flow is coming out, so that's a little worrisome. We'll have to see if that 1 hour and lower time frames can kind of carry up. 2 hour money flow is not bullish, so we'll need that to carry from the 1 hour. Over on the daily for Bitcoin dominance, we are starting to kind of round off here, so we may not see this full breakout. This broke more like a ascending triangle than a bull pendant if we start to fall from here. So sometimes that'll happen. That's why it's good to scale out or scale into positions rather than all at once. But use your own judgment and what works for you. Our stochastic is falling, RSI is rolling over and falling, momentum's rolling over and falling, VWAP is heading down close to that neutral zone. Our money flow is close to the neutral zone, wants to break, but we are kind of rounding off. So we're going to really need to push through, otherwise we could curl away and just get some more bearish downside. The 4 hour, we are kind of cooling off on RSI, stochastic's beat down, VWAP's coming down at a pretty good rate. Money flow is struggling to maintain this bullish zone, so the 4 hour is not looking too good from this breakout. And it's been kind of weak halfway into this breakout so far. So over on our futures, we did not fill this gap yet, so we'll have to see if that can happen tomorrow. If interest rates come in a little lower like they could, since our CPI is a little bit better, we may see a bump, but we may not see the interest rates change either until that interest is at 2% for the CPI. But we are at 4%, so that's good. Stochastic is falling, RSI is falling, money flow is coming out, VWAP's heading up, our momentum is coming down, so everything's looking more bearish than bullish. Our medium term wants to come up for a recovery, so we'll have to see if that can happen. Over on Bitcoin, we're still within our wedge here from, I believe, yesterday I drew it. Stochastic is running up, RSI is pretty flat, VWAP's heading up, our money flow is still coming out, so this is a bearish pattern, keep that in mind. Our momentum has a double green dot, we do want to curl up and come higher, so we'll have to see if we trade a little higher over the next couple days and then maybe get a drop. Over on the 4 hour, we are under our ascending triangle, so we did break out, tried to retest, and we are currently rejecting a retest. We'll have to see if that confirms and if we get more red candles. If that does happen, we could see further downside. Did almost get the full breakdown though, so it wasn't a big triangle or a big wedge, so wasn't a big breakout. Stochastic is starting to fall, RSI is starting to get lower highs and starting to fall. Our momentum's curling over, money flow is struggling to break through that neutral, we're just holding under it in the bearish territory, and our VWAP is flat in the bearish territory as well. So we're slightly more bearish leaning than bullish. Our stochastic is trying to make a bullish cross, but we are kind of rounding off. RSI is kind of flat, but we are trying to point up. Our money flow wants to go bullish, but is struggling to get through that neutral line and actually hold. Our VWAP looks like we wanted to come bullish, but we are starting to curl away and starting to fall. So this VWAP could show that our medium term could start to get exhausted and we could start to fall from here. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is pushing up. Our stochastic wants to get a bullish cross, but like the last one, it could kind of flop over and be weak and not really lead to much, so just watch out for that. Money flow is bullish, but very weak. It could easily break to the bearish side. We're just hugging that neutral, so watch out. Our momentum does have a green dot. We aren't really curling that strong, but we do have that green dot, so that could help push us up. And that VWAP could cross, so that with the stochastic could try to push us through. We'll have to see if we push through or if this kind of becomes more of an up channel, which if it's more of an up channel, then we end up just trading down again. And it'll actually be more of a breakdown, because we'd be from here to here, and we'd break about there. So, little indecision going on. I'd watch the next few candles pretty closely. Over on graph, we do have this triangle. We are kind of starting to fall away, it looks. Our RSI is falling away. VWAP is trying to break through that neutral. So our medium term wants to go bullish. We'll have to see if it can actually flip bullish and get some weight. Our money flow is starting to reject away. Momentum is trying to curl. Our stochastic's nowhere to be found. So We have very indecisive signals, but we're overall more bearish leaning currently. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic is falling, RSI is getting lower highs and starting to fall. We had a manipulation X that we are kind of starting to fall away from. That did bring us out of our triangle after trying to get a break up through our triangle, so we're trying to fill both sides, it looks like. Our stochastic is falling, RSI is rolling over, VWAP is in the bearish territory trying to curl up, momentum's trying to curl, but we are going to push from a red dot. Our money flow is in the bearish territory, so overall we're a little more bearish leaning than bullish on the 4 hour. On the 2 hour, our RSI is overall losing ground, stochastic is getting close to a bearish cross and could drop. Our VWAP is starting to round over, momentum broke into the bearish territory, and our money flow is bearish, struggling to break through this 9 area and go a little higher, so we could see a bit of a rollover and some more bearish momentum from here. Over on the 1 hour, you can kind of see that break away from it, where we're starting to round off. Excuse me. RSI is trying to push up, stochastic's trying to push up. Our money flow kind of wants to flip bullish. VWAP wants to flip bullish. So we'll have to see if that money flow and VWAP can break bullish, and if the stochastic and RSI can keep moving forward. If they can, we may be able to push away. So we'll have to see if that can happen. Our momentum is falling though, so momentum is still coming out, but it could start to get a green dot. Just watch out. Alright, the secondary is starting to round, so we could see a kind of goofy dot like we did with Bitcoin. Over on the daily for anchor, we are within our pattern still. RSI is pretty flat, stochastic wants to go bullish, our VWAP wants to go bullish. Money flow slightly still coming out, momentum's getting a double green dot. So overall, I'd say we're a little more bearish leaning than bullish, but we have the possibility to flip bullish here. Over on the 4 hour, we do still have this wedge, so that is a bearish pattern, so that can bring us down. So the stochastic is starting to head down, money flow is rejecting away from the neutral, VWAP is into the bearish zone, our momentum wanted to go through the neutral, but is starting to reject with the red dot, and our RSI is starting to curl over. So even though we're looking decent on the daily, the lower time frames, or medium time frames, may not look so favorable. Over on the 2 hour here, our money flow was in the bearish territory. We are breaking into the bullish territory, but you can see we've just been zigzagging around since we've been in this pattern, and we don't know where we want to be for our money flow. Our VWAP is starting to round out away from that neutral zone into the bearish territory, so we're not very strong here. Momentum wants to get a curl above the neutral zone and try and push bullish, but if this VWAP starts to bring us down, that momentum may straighten out and come down with it. Our stochastic has a bullish cross, wants to push up, but our RSI is kind of rounding off, so that's saying that we may not be the strongest here with the RSI, and we could see the stochastic just give up and start to fall. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic's about to get a bearish cross. Money flow did break back into the bearish zone. Our VWAP is bullish but very weak. Momentum has a green dot, but we keep giving green and red dots all over the place on this momentum wave, so we're not really sure where the momentum wants to go. Our RSI is getting higher, slightly higher lows and heading up, so that is good for us, but with the stochastic weakening and the money flow coming out, we may see some further downside, and we could break out of this pattern soon. Over on XRP, the one that's supposed to be the hype of the day, we pretty much got our full measured move that we had. We almost hit that 60-cent area, but we got robbed of it. That's why you don't want to always go for the full measured move. We do have this higher resistance area here that would have been a pretty decent spot, but you still would not have gotten the full move. That's why sometimes it's decent to go for like half a move and then scale out even higher if you can. So that's why you don't always want to plan on all in one, all out at once, not all the time. Sometimes you want to use different strategies. So just something to think about, not financial advice, just trying to help you think of different ways that you may not have thought of. Our stochastic is trying to push higher, momentum's trying to push higher with the green dot. Our RSI is starting to weaken, so we'll need that stochastic to really push. Our VWAP's trying to flip bullish, our money flow is starting to round out, but we are in the bullish territory, so overall we're a little more bullish than bearish. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic is starting to fall. RSI is pretty low, starting to kind of round off and weaken, so not looking too strong. Momentum's coming down. We do have a possibility for a round here, so watch out for that. Our VWAP is starting to try and taper up, but not very strongly. So I'd say the 4 hour looks a little more bearish leaning, but very indecisive. You probably had a lot of people that like sold off after the pump because they're like, oh, well, this is a big nothing burger and the case really didn't help XRP, so they may not successfully get through the lawsuit, so there's probably some panic selling. Our RSI is kind of starting to flatten out. Our stochastic is getting a bearish cross. Money flow is bullish. VWAP is starting to round out. So we do have bullish momentum on most of our time frames so far. So we are doing decently. But a lot of our stochastics and RSIs are starting to round. So that's signaling some weakness. RSI is trying to head up. Stochastic is kind of curling away. Our money flow is well into the bullish territory. And our momentum is trying to push up. But we do have a little bit of a round here. So watch out if we get a red dot. A VWAP is getting close to that neutral zone and could break bearish. I was also on Reddit quite a bit with XRP today, and there's a lot of people questioning if they should be selling or buying, so we're probably going to see some major price swings as a lot of weak hands either get in or out, and likely you're not going to get a very good move until the summary judgment where the judge says it's a security or it's not a security. And if it does get labeled a security, all that means for you is that it'll have to pay more money. XRP, Ripple will have to pay more money to register as a security rather than a commodity. That's really all it means for most investors, so don't get too worried if they get labeled as a security. They could still have some further upside in the future. It just might get delayed. But that's my 2 cents on what I think. Let me know what you think. Our our candle is very indecisive. Our RSI is pretty flat. Stochastic's running up on algo. VWAP's trying to run up. Money flow's not sure where it wants to go. Overall heading slightly out. Momentum wanted to get a double green dot, but we are getting that secondary wave that could signal a little bit of a curl to the downside, so just exercise some caution. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic is falling, RSI is falling overall, but pretty flat. Momentum is falling with a red dot, so we could see some further downside. VWAP is pretty flat under the neutral zone. Our money flow is flat under the in the bearish zone, so overall we are more bearish leaning than bullish here. We're kind of stretching out, tried to get a fake out just like everything else. Everyone tried to pump because they thought we were going to get some clarity with those documents, but we didn't get anything. Our stochastic's running up, RSI is pretty flat, money flow is pretty flat, VWAP is starting to curl away, so we may see a little bit of a sell-off here, at which point hopefully we'll see some even nicer DCA prices. Stochastic is starting to fall, RSI is trying to head up, and our money flow is trying to head up, but overall getting lower highs. VWAP is under the neutral zone, but very struggling, so it could easily curl back up. Momentum is coming down. We do have a red dot, so that's a little worrisome for the VWAP and for a recovery. We'll have to kind of see if we get this bullish engulfing candle and if we get some further momentum off of it. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.